Your brain has evolved a system whose only job is to notice if your breathing might fail. It's part of the limbic system and it doesn't detect oxygen. It can't, so instead it monitors your carbon dioxide levels. CO2 is the signal that your brain uses to determine whether air is flowing the way that it should be. You see, when your CO2 levels get too high, your brain automatically assumes that you must be suffocating, and this mechanism has evolved for very real dangers. Things like gas buildup, smoke inhalation, being pinned or crushed, basically anything that restricts your airflow. When that alarm fires, it's urgent and on purpose, but people don't just experience this when they're suffocating, they also experience it during a panic attack. However, during a panic attack, your oxygen is usually fine, yet you feel starved for air, so you start taking deeper and faster breaths, trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist. And this leads you to get stuck in a dangerous positive feedback cycle, where your air hunger causes you to hyperventilate, making the sensation worse. Here's the twist: that same monitor that freaks out when your CO2 levels are too high also sounds the alarm when your CO2 is too low. The problem is that it doesn't really know how to interpret that signal, because having too low of levels of CO2 isn't really something that humans encounter in nature. The only thing that your brain can determine is that something feels off, and so it treats too little the same way that it treats too much. Both feel like suffocation. So the harder that you breathe, the more CO2 that you lose, and the louder the alarm gets, and you begin to panic because no matter how much you breathe, your brain is telling you that you're not getting enough air. As impossible as this feels, the only way out of a panic attack is to do the exact opposite of what it feels like you should do, meaning you need to slow your breathing, especially on the exhale, so that you can build up your CO2 back to baseline. This will stabilize your system and turn down that alarm. But it's really difficult to remember to do this in the moment because this circuit evolved long before reasoning or reassurance. The important thing to remember here is that having panic attacks doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you as a person. You have a really old survival mechanism that's misreading its own data. If this reframed panic for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and follow for more neuroscience that actually explains what your body is doing.